everyone. Before we start, we would like to acknowledge that the University of Alberta is located on Treaty 6 territory and that we respect the history, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First People of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our institution. As Deb mentioned, we are recording this event for public distribution. Please stay muted and turn off your video while you're not presenting. You will hear recorded applause after each student, but please refrain from applauding during the presentations. You can use the reaction button to clap on screen or using hand language. At the end, we will have the opportunity to applaud together. My name is Tian Tang, and I am the academic co-chair of WISEST. On behalf of WISEST, I thank you for coming to this very special event, Celebration of Research for the 2020 Summer Research Program. This year is particularly special since COVID-19 drastically changed how we learn, how we do research, and how we interact with each other, socially and academically. While the virus prevented us from offering the program in the same format as in previous years, our team quickly came up with a remote program that still allowed students to be actively engaged in research activities, professional development, and networking. Today, we will have the opportunity to hear from the students about what they have learned, explored, and experienced in the summer research program. Every year during the Celebration of Research, we are impressed by the young students in our program, their passion, their curiosity, and what they are able to accomplish in just a few weeks. Although this year's presentations take a different format, I have no doubt that our students will again make us proud. We're so pleased to have a very special guest joining us this morning, the Honorable Heather McPherson, Member of the Parliament, Edmonton-Strathcona, who will bring greetings to the students. MP McPherson, we would invite you to unmute yourself and begin.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you can hear me. I'm so delighted to be here with you all today and to bring greetings from the Parliament of Canada. I know that the warm greetings I bring are echoed by all my colleagues in the House of Commons. We are so very proud of the incredible work done by students as part of the WISEST program every year. But this year in particular, I want to acknowledge the amazing commitment, perseverance, and strength you've shown in working so diligently on your projects despite the challenges we faced with COVID-19. I wanted to tell you as well that the work that WISEST does is so important. My daughter actually attended the Choices Conference for grade 6 students when she was in grade 6. Her and her friends got to participate, and I want you to know that as students that are older and that are doing this program, that you are role models for younger women and non-binary people. You are making a path. You are making a path for people to follow. So I think it's important the work that you do, and we are so very proud of you. As you know, this world needs the research that is being done within STEM and STEAM more than ever. We need to have scientific method. We need to have a public that understands how science and evidence-based policy is so important. And how important that is going forward. The experience of COVID-19 is a perfect example of why we need the work that is being done in these fields and why we need to have strong women, girls, and non-binary leaders in this field. I'm so pleased that WISEST exists and that it engages young people at such a young age. As somebody who works maybe in a field that is not predominantly women, you will face more challenges than men working in STEM and in STEAM. You will have to overcome more obstacles to graduate and to get ahead in a career in these fields. So I want to be here to let you know that there are dozens of us cheering you on right now, that your family members, your friends, your fellow students, and people like me and other parliamentarians that believe in you, thank you for the work that you're doing, and remember that we're behind you, supporting you and cheering you on as you go forward into what I can only imagine will be amazing careers for all of you. Thank you so much.
We are now inviting our students to share with you a short presentation that summarizes their experience over the summer and their research. We will introduce each student and ask that they unmute themselves and share their screen if they need to. Once they are finished, students, please stop sharing your screen and re-mute yourself to indicate that you have finished. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time in our schedule for questions, but we are all excited to hear about your summer. So, Abigail, please unmute yourself and start us off. And I am introducing Abigail Reardon from Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta.
Hi, Bridget. Thank you for that introduction. And if you do not hear, my name is Abigail Reardon. I was placed in the ILS faculty, and this is my 2020 SRP experience. So my project included dark cutting beef, and it is the discoloration of normal beef and appears to be purplish black in color. This is because of the depletion of glycogen prior to slaughter. So why is this a problem? Consumers associate the color of the meat with how fresh it is. It accounts for losses of $10.6 million per year in Canada, and beef farmers are deducted 20 to 40% of their income. It produces a tougher beef and also has a shorter shelf life. So our research includes finding the number and predominant muscle fiber types to help us with understanding why dark cutting is happening. Our hypothesis was that slow twitch oxidative type 1 muscle fibers may increase the likelihood of dark cutting due to reduced glycogen. So what we observed was that type 1 muscle fibers in dark cutting carcasses had a larger diameter than normal beef. So we believe that the diameter of the type 1 muscle fibers were increased because of their high ultimate pH, which preserved the protein. So my experience with WISEST was amazing. I got time to meet so many different mentors and learn how to network, which helps me in my future. I also learned how to apply for scholarships, what university life looks like, and also what a lab environment would look like. Even though this program was virtual, we still made so many connections with our SRP, and I'm so thankful for you guys. I'd like to thank my PI and supervisor, Dr. Bruce and Dr. Roy, because without you, I would not have the success in this program. I'd also like to thank my sponsors, Dr. Bruce Lab and Beta Sigma Phi. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.
Thanks, Abigail. We're going to move swiftly along. So next up, we have Ainsley Singer from Barrhead, Alberta. Ainsley, if you want to unmute yourself.
Hi. Hello, my name is Ainsley Singer, and I was placed in the linguistics department this year. I worked with Dr. Niveld and Dr. Tucker in their research into spoken word recognition and bilingualism. This was made possible by my sponsors in the University of Alberta Faculty of the Arts and the WISEST Advisory Board. Dr. Niveld included various tasks, but mainly focused on literature review and discussion to address some unexpected data results in her current study on spoken word recognition by bilinguals. We formulated a research question and looked into the data, analyzing whether or not a bilingual's first language affects their speech perception in their second language. In addition to this, we designed and ran a lab on my family, following their speech perception in noise. In this way, I was able to look at all aspects of a lab experiment despite the virtual setting this year. Finally, why does it matter? The study of language is vital to a society, culture, and species as socially engaged as humans. We rely on language to communicate all ideas, from research to poems and relationship matters. We need language every day. So in order to better communicate, the exploration of why, how, and what affects language is vitally important. In closing, my experience with this program has been amazing. I've got to meet so many people, from the PD sessions to mentor opportunities to my peers. I wanted to thank everyone at this program for supporting me and allowing me to be here this summer. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Ananya Nandaraju from Edmonton, Alberta.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ananya Nandaraju, and this summer I was placed in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. My project focused on the purpose and methodology of conducting geotechnical site investigations. Now, what exactly is a site investigation? Well, it is the first step in all construction projects, and it is defined as the study of the physical properties of soil and rock to evaluate and identify potential construction problems. There are 4 critical steps within conducting a site investigation. First, a preparatory phase, then a preliminary site investigation, next, a detailed site investigation, and finally, a site investigation report is crafted and recommendations are given. So now that we know what a site investigation is, what is the applicability of my research? Well, let's take a look at these photos. I see 2 structural failures which could have possibly ended with a loss of lives. Would we want these occurrences to be regularities? I sure hope not. With site investigations, though it might seem repetitive, time-consuming, and costly, they are actually only a fraction of the total construction cost. My experience during this month has been an amazing learning and networking opportunity. I've met 20 amazing and determined students who are as passionate about STEM as I am, and I've discovered myself along the way as well. For that, I'd like to thank WISEST, my principal investigator, Dr. Michael Hendry, my supervisor, Ms. Akila Palat, and my sponsors, the Dr. Hendry Lab and the Edmonton chapter of Beta Sigma Phi. Thank you all once again for listening.
Thank you, Ananya. I'd like to now ask Brooke Roy Page from Canmore, Alberta, to unmute herself.
Hi, my name is Brooke Roy Page, and I attend Our Lady of the Snows Catholic Academy in Canmore, Alberta. This summer, I was fortunate enough to be placed in the Faculty of Engineering in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Here, I worked with Dr. Westover and Dr. Duke, along with Maha Eid, on a literature review on methods used to evaluate the symmetry of different parts of the human body. Symmetry is quite important, not only for aesthetic purposes, but as well as it expresses good health. Symmetry can be found in many different places of the human body, but for my report, I decided to focus on the craniofacial area, which is the symmetry of the face and skull, as well as the pelvic and torso regions. Methods for finding the symmetry in this range of anatomy vary. However, it is more common nowadays to use 3D models made from CT scans or stereophotogrammetry images, which are quite similar. These models can then be used to determine their symmetry, most often through landmarks or through the help of computer software by doing some sort of closest point algorithm. Landmark-based methods include identifying central and left and right points on whatever bone is being examined, and then measuring the difference between these points. Typically, the higher the number, the more asymmetrical that part is. For closest point algorithms, the object is usually reflected across a sagittal plane that separates it between left and right points. Then it is aligned as closely between all of those points. In the end, determining the symmetry of an anatomical region is useful for clinical practices, such as planning for plastic or reconstructive surgery, which is why it is still being researched. This summer has been a whirlwind of so many amazing experiences. I've gained confidence in all aspects of my life and made some pretty awesome friendships along the way. I would like to say a big thank you to everyone who made this possible, especially WISEST and the Faculty of Engineering. I have never been more proud to be a female in STEM, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for all of us. So thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Brooklyn Keith from Morinville, Alberta.
Hello and good morning. My name is Brooklyn Keith and I'm a participant in the 2020 Summer Research Program. This summer I've had the pleasure to work in the Department of Psychology in the Faculty of Science, where I was able to meet the people who work in the Songbird Neuroethology Laboratory, or SNL for short, including Dr. Chris Sturdy, Kina Montenegro, and Pratik Shahu. For the past 4 weeks, I worked with them as a member of their research team. I was specifically assigned to work on a project concerning zebra finches, which are a type of songbird. I researched comparative studies between zebra finches and humans with respect to the development of their vocal communication systems. The manner in which infants learn to speak is by mimicry of adult caregivers, normally their parents, which occurs when the infant attempts to imitate the vocalizations of the adult they are exposed to. This is the same process for vocal learning in zebra finches, which makes studies done on them easily applicable to humans. By reading and summarizing different peer-reviewed journal articles, I was able to learn about social interaction and how it affects both positively and negatively the development of vocalizations in both young zebra finches and infants. Thanks to the summer research program, I found myself gaining more confidence when it comes to writing, speaking, and professional communication skills. It allowed me to meet many different mentors, which have given me great advice when it comes to STEM and learning careers. As amazing as those experiences were, the best part of the program was meeting all my amazing co-interns and creating a bond and a friendship that I hope will stay strong well into our future careers and education. I'd like to thank WISEST, the Faculty of Science, and the SNL Lab for making this possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Next up, we have Caitlin Delorier from Edmonton, Alberta. Caitlin, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Delorier, and I've been placed in the Faculty of Computer Science for my summer research program this year. So fewer and fewer people are speaking Cree. It's down to about 20%. So my objective this summer was to make Cree language resources more accessible. I worked with the EdTechla group on their Cree Tutor app, which is an app to teach people Cree. And I developed a corpus website where you can download all the resources used to make their app. So how I did that was using all these different tools, such as Python and HTML or CSS. I used these to build the website itself, with HTML and CSS being how I designed the look of the website, and Python being how I made the framework, how the app actually runs. And through that, I was able to make a website that looks like this. When you click on the button, you get a download that comes up where you can download all of their text files. And if you click on the other button, it brings you to a website where all their audio files are located. I would like to thank my PI, Dr. Carrie Demenzep, and my supervisor, Mr. Owen McLeod, the EdTechla group for all their support over the summer, and my sponsors, Motorola and Threshold Impact, as well as the WISEST team for all of their support and opportunities that they've given me this summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Next up, we have Cynthia Tway, all the way from Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Hi everyone, my name is Cynthia Tsui and my placement this summer was with the Department of Mechanical Engineering. So the summer research program has truly been an amazing experience and I have learned so much over the past month, whether it's from PD sessions or through my project. So for my research project, I examined the use of carbon fiber braided composites in the design of a rowing shell. So a composite is a material made of a polymer matrix such as epoxy resin and a fiber reinforcement such as carbon fiber. And composites can be produced by 2D braiding where the fibers are braided together. And this offers added strength, more damage tolerance, and they're easier to mold, in this case, to the curved shape of a rowing shell. An example of a braided composite is shown on the left, and an example of a rowing shell that was designed using SolidWorks is shown on the right. So a rowing shell is a very long and narrow boat that is designed for racing, and an optimal rowing shell is lightweight, stiff, and durable. And this is important because to maximize the performance for athletes. So the fiber I'm proposing to use is carbon fiber, as it's stiff and light when used with epoxy resin. And a typical rowing shell, however, is made of unidirectional Kevlar or fiberglass because it is much more cost effective. Unidirectional just means that the fibers lay in one direction. But while carbon fiber is more expensive than the typical fibers, it's also stiffer, which makes the boat more efficient and faster in the water. And if it's braided, it increases other factors such as the shell's durability to forces that may occur from all directions. However, braided composites do decrease the stiffness of the material, but I found that since carbon fiber is significantly stiffer than Kevlar and fiberglass, that when it's braided, it still has a comparable stiffness to what is typically used. So ultimately, using carbon fiber braided composites to manufacture a rowing shell will result in an efficient boat that will have a longer lifespan. I'd like to thank my PI, Dr. Carey, my supervisors, Eric and Samir, and also Raylan and Evie for your guidance and support throughout the program. Thank you to ISOMAS for your generous sponsorship, and thank you for the WISEST team for organizing this amazing program. I'm so thankful that I've had this opportunity to meet so many wonderful and inspiring individuals, and I will cherish this experience forever. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Cynthia. Next up, we have Danielle Ratcliffe from Edmonton, Alberta.
Hello, my name is Danielle Ratcliffe, and this summer I was placed in the ALS faculty in the Department of Renewable Resources. My research has been focused on how the increase of soil organic carbon could possibly create a short-term solution to climate change. This assumption provides the basis for the 4 per 1,000 initiative. Created in 2015, this initiative stresses the role that soil can play in both food security and climate change mitigation. The 4 per 1,000 initiative states that if carbon in the soil were to be increased by 0.4% every year in the first 30 to 40 centimeters of soil, the annual increase of CO2 in the atmosphere would be significantly reduced. Specifically, I have been researching different land use changes that could be used to increase organic carbon in the soils. Afforestation is one of these methods, which may be effective in reaching the goals of the 4 per 1,000 initiative. Afforestation is the opposite of deforestation. It is the conversion of treeless land into a forest plantation. It has been proven that this land use change has the potential to increase soil carbon. There are many factors that can change the effectiveness of afforestation. For example, tree species has been shown to have a large impact on the magnitude of soil carbon storage. In this graph here, you can see how afforestation with broadleaf trees significantly increased soil organic carbon, more so than other tree species. Overall, I have thoroughly enjoyed my experience in the summer research program. I have learned so many new things, developed valuable professional skills, and met new like-minded friends. I wanted to thank WISEST, my sponsor, the International Paper, my supervisor, Cole Gross, and my principal investigators, Dr. Chang and Dr. Bork, for making my research possible this summer. So thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. Next, we have Alam Iftikhar from St. Paul, Alberta.
Hi, my name is Alam Iftikhar, and I'll be presenting my research and experience in the summer research program. This is my workplace where I conducted my research. My placement was in the Department of Civil and Environment Engineering, where I researched oil sand tailings. Oil sand tailings is a byproduct produced from mining valuable resources. This liquid waste is stored in tailing ponds, which has already accumulated 1.3 billion cubic meters of fine flowing tailings. Undoubtedly, this waste can transform a pristine environment into one that is damaged, and a way to resolve this problem is to reclaim tailings into a tropical landscape. This way, it can help to restore the land previously used in the mining process. In order for this to be achieved, the moisture content has to be decreased, whereas the strength increased. which can be done through dewatering technology, such as centrifugation. Throughout this research, I conducted a study where I analyzed a datasets to assess undrained shear strength in drift treated oil tailings. Two types of effects were mainly observed: frictional, which created a negative slope, and non-frictional, which created a positive slope. Understanding the behavior of tailings allows us to determine the suitable treatment for a reclamation scenario and ultimately reduce the amount of waste. My experience in the summer research program is a highlight of my life that I will never forget. The professional development sessions and mentor opportunities provided me with valuable knowledge that will help to ensure my success in the future. Throughout the program, there are also social activities that reinforce my friendship with my peers. The program ultimately matured me into a confident individual who is now able to overcome any obstacle that may occur through my journey in academia. I want to sincerely thank WISEST for allowing this amazing opportunity. To my principal investigator, Dr. Nicholas Bayer, and my supervisor, Dr. Ahlam Abdulnabi. To my sponsors, Dr. Nicholas Bayer Lab and WISEST, and to my amazing peers. I sincerely thank you.
Thank you, Ahlam. I'd now like to turn the stage over to Iman Shayeb from Edmonton, Alberta. Iman, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so my name is Iman Shayeb. During my time as a WISEST intern, I was placed in the Limda Mechanical Engineering Lab, where I got to conduct my research in computer vision program applications in object damage detection. Computer vision is a field related to, but separate than, AI, that aims to create machines that are able to perceive the world in the same way that human beings do. You might recognize this in facial recognition or image classification. I researched the inner workings of specific architectures like faster RCNN and how they can be applied to areas like damage detection. One of the main points of my research was identifying where different programs perform the best based on examining literature. For example, YOLO is a computer vision program best for quick detection without much accuracy. Faster RCNN is best for accurate real-time detection. The second component to my experience as a SRP intern were all of the events and PD sessions that were planned by the very hardworking WISEST team. I honestly learned so much from these, like digital communication, building a resume, and navigating STEM as a young scientist. We also got the opportunity to connect with mentors from all parts of STEM who gave us some pretty priceless insights into their respective fields. Aside from all of the mentorship and development opportunities that we had, I think we all made some pretty great friends who are so self-motivated and willing to collaborate on external projects. Overall, I got to connect with so many unique people who have very much encouraged me to pursue my passion in the mathematical sciences, and I will move forward with this experience in my back pocket, always reminding me of my true potential as a young woman in STEM. I would like to thank my sponsors, Motorola and the Edmonton chapter of Beta Sigma Phi, and the lab team I was placed in, particularly Dr. Ahmed, Ms. Imam, and Ms. Abbasi. Finally, I would like to thank the WISEST team for their dedication to make this the best summer ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Iman. Next up, we have Evie Dorsch from Edmonton, Alberta.
So as Bridget had said, my name is Evie Dorsch, and I had the pleasure of working in the Department of Mechanical Engineering over the last month. So honestly, a month ago, if you would have asked me what mechanical engineering was, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you anything, let alone when considering braided composites. Now, to be fair, I still don't know a lot. However, over the last month, I've learned more than I could have ever expected. So the project I researched were alternative, environmentally friendly braided composites to be used in a prosthetic socket. Braided composites use a fiber such as carbon and overlap the material, eventually becoming impregnated by a resin or a matrix. This results in a strong yet light material. For my research, I looked at a green fiber called lyocell, which is a regenerated cellulose fiber, and a resin called ecopoxy. This material had a relatively high longitudinal elastic modulus, but a low, comparatively,
transverse elastic modulus, and shear modulus, especially when compared to carbon epoxy, e-glass epoxy, and polypropylene, the materials that are typically used in prosthetic socket creation. However, braiding the composite allows for the increase of the shear and elastic moduli. For example, at a braid angle of 20 degrees, the most suitable braid angle, the prosthetic socket would allow for the most favorable material. So although this results in a lower elastic moduli and shear moduli when compared to carbon and glass, the lower density of lyocell ecopoxy allows it to gain competitiveness. And when compared to polypropylene, lyocell ecopoxy overcomes its properties such as the elastic moduli and the shear moduli. So this here is a rough model of what my socket looks like, and overarchingly what I want to get at is that lyocell ecopoxy provides both environmental and economic benefits while having uniform properties comparable to other materials used in the prosthetic socket. Throughout this month, WISEST and my SRP peers have provided an unforgettable experience. The friendships I have forged and the lessons I have learned are invaluable. I would like to thank Dr. Carey, Eric, Samir, Raylan, Cynthia, and of course, Bridget, Deb, and everyone at WISEST for being a support and encouragement over the month. I would also like to thank the Rotary Club of Edmonton-Glenora and the Faculty of Engineering at the U of A for funding me over the month. Thank you for everyone's support.
Thank you, Evie. I would just like to comment. We've attached Evie's video if you'd like to see the graphics to that in the chat. So if you'd like to see those, they're just in the chat. Thank you, Evie. Next up, we have Yasu Jakob from Edmonton, Alberta. Yasu, if you want to unmute yourself.
All right, so let me present. Hello, everyone. My name is Yasu Jakob, and I'm going to be sharing my 2020 WISEST experiences with all of you. I can't even begin to scratch the surface at my summer's experiences in only 2 minutes, but I'll try my best. All right, so to be frank, my summer's experiences have truly been outstanding. In spite of the shakeup caused by COVID-19, the SRP has really managed to adapt to this online setting, being a feature-packed bonanza of STEM. From the enriching PD sessions to the countless opportunities to meet with real-world professionals, the SRP has provided me with an unprecedented opportunity to explore the world of STEM. Initially, it might have seemed a bit weird for a dude like me to join the program, given how many people think WISEST is exclusively geared towards women in STEM. But the WISEST SRP really goes beyond this, hoping to promote diversity in all disciplines, including men in fields such as nutrition. This leads me to telling you about my own research project. This year, I worked in a placement with the School of Public Health, where I had the honor to work under my supervisor, Dr. Melissa Fernandez, and PI, Dr. Kim Rain. My placement involved me assessing the credibility of nutrition influencers' websites in relation to their popularity. For those unaware, influencers are internet celebrities who influence other people. This is important that we have to research this because influencers have a massive impact on people's decisions, especially when it comes to nutrition and health. My research involved assessing the credibility of 39 nutrition influencers using a 5-part checklist that asked important questions like, do they promote research-based solutions or are they certified health professionals? After we assessed them, we put them into larger groups, basing them into larger categories like are they high credibility, medium credibility, or low credibility? And what we found was rather shocking. We found that essentially nutrition influencers with low credibility websites had a 10-time greater following than nutrition influencers who had websites with a higher credibility. As you can see here, a difference of 10 times. So in conclusion, I had a blast this summer, and I just wanted to thank my research team for their help and my sponsors, the WISEST Advisory Board and the U of A School of Public Health, for giving me such an awesome opportunity this summer.
Thank you, Yasu. Next, we have Haley Anderson from Red Deer, Alberta.
Hi, my name is Haley, and today I'm going to be discussing my summer research project, which focused on agricultural soils and their potential at being a climate change solution. For some background on the subject, carbon dioxide is a harmful greenhouse gas that is a large contributor to global warming. It's taken out of the atmosphere through photosynthesis and is then transferred into the soil when that plant dies and becomes buried along with its roots. So my literature review focused on ways in which farmers can increase the amount of organic matter or dead plant matter in their soils through various treatment types. The ones I was primarily focusing on were no-till agriculture, where the land is not disturbed, cover cropping and residue incorporation, as well as agroforestry, which is the incorporation of woody vegetation, so trees or shrubs, in with the croplands. All of these practices did end up contributing positively to the carbon pool, which is the total amount of carbon stored in the soil. But it was when they were used in conjunction with each other that they really offered the highest impact, namely when no-till, cover crops, and residue incorporation were used together. They were able to store the most carbon, which is the goal. Of course, there are a few drawbacks, namely the need for more research regarding their efficacy in different locations, as well as subsidies given to farmers who choose to implement these practices as extra incentive. So that was a little snapshot of what I worked on this summer. I hope you enjoyed. I know I did. Who knew soils can be that fun? But as for my overall experience this summer, of course, it's not what I initially expected it to look like, but it did still prove to be an absolutely amazing experience, which offered so many learning opportunities and really transformed me into a person I would not have recognized beforehand, and I'm so grateful for that. I'd like to thank Mr. Colegrass for supporting me, as well as Dr. Edward Bork and Dr. Scott Chang. I'd also like to thank my sponsors, WISEST and the faculty of AILS, for allowing me to be part of this. And of course, I'd like to thank everybody who made this summer so amazing, which is Bridget, Helen, Pravone, Deb, and of course, my fellow student researchers. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. I'm now going to follow that up with another Haley, Haley Nickel, who lives in Slave Lake, Alberta.
Hello. All right. Thank you, Deb, for that introduction. My name is Haley Nickel, and this year in the summer research program, I got placed in the Faculty of Science and worked in the Laboratory of Vertebrate Paleontology with Dr. Philip Curry and my supervisor, Mr. Howard Gibbons. So before I get into my project, I would just like to thank my sponsors this year, the UVA Faculty of Science and the International Paper for funding this research and making this possible, as well as the WISEST team for just giving me a great experience. To get into my project a bit, we looked at the dispersion and geographic ranges of a few species of dinosaurs throughout Western North America. This research is very important because if we know the areas that a certain species of dinosaur is found in, we can then look for gaps in where they were found to potentially find new specimens. If we connect the gaps and do find new specimens, it gives us a bit of an insight to maybe their migration patterns as well as which species interacted with each other. So on this slide, I just have a map that my lab partner, Sydney Roper, created of the specimens we did look at. To collect the data, we collected articles from the Web of Science as well as Scopus, and just read through them to find the specimen number as well as the GPS location. So you can see the different points here as well as the chart on the side. We primarily found species in Alberta and a bit of Montana. To close, I would just like to say thank you so much for this experience. I've gained so much confidence through the program and would definitely recommend it to so many of my friends.
Thank you, Haley. Next up, we have Hillary Wynn from Yellowknife, Northwest Territories.
Thanks, Bridget, for the intro. Hello, my name is Hillary Wynn. I'm from the Northwest Territories, and for the summer, I was placed in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. My project was made possible thanks to the support of Threshold Impact, WISEST, my supervisor, Maha Eid, and my two PIs, Dr. Duke and Dr. Westover. So for my research, we looked into the various applications of SSM and other methods to analyze the shapes of various anatomical regions. This include the pelvis, the craniofacial, the tibia, the talus, the clavicle, and many others. The results of this investigation concluded that SSM, statistical shape modeling, was the most common method used. It was typically used to compare various groups. Secondly, 3D geometry analysis was used to look into the average shapes of different bones, and this is important and crucial for the development of prosthetics. And finally, PCA, principal component analysis, focused on the mode of variations, and this brought to light sexual dimorphism and ethnical differences. This is important because this is a fairly new area of research for our lab, and this permits us to gather more insight on this topic, while also shining light on sexual dimorphism and ethnical differences. This review holds great value for those in the fields of orthopedics, prosthetics, and gynecology. I will now be discussing about my SRP experience. This was a phenomenal, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I got the chance to listen to knowledgeable mentors, learn crucial and important software skills, while also having the opportunity to meet and interact with like-minded peers who are now like my family. Thank you.
Thanks, Hillary, for sharing with us. Our next student is Josh Karathra from Edmonton, Alberta.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. My name is Josh, and this summer I was working in the School of Public Health, researching the popularity of nutrition influencers and the products and services that they promote on their channel. A special thank you to our supervisor, Dr. Melissa Fernandez, and our PI, Dr. Kim Rain, as well as all of the supporters who made this research possible. So first, what we looked at was the popularity of different influencers, in particular in the nutrition field. So we did this by scanning all of the top 5 social medias that they were present on. We also cataloged the products and services that were available on their website. To analyze this data, we split our group up into registered dietitians and non-registered dietitians, and we found that we came to some pretty interesting results. Well, first we found that non-RDs on average had a much higher subscriber or follower count, and this was the same across all 5 platforms. On the high end, in Facebook, they had over 500,000 more followers, and even on the low end, they still had 50,000 more. So this begged the question, how can we increase the visibility and the reach of RDs as nutrition influencers? The second key conclusion we came to was that non-RDs often marketed consumable foods at a much higher percentage. So this made us question, how can we make sure that all of these products and services that they are marketing are effective? I'd like to thank the WISEST community so much for the positive experience they have provided. I know my interest in public health has definitely increased, and I can't wait to see what other SRP students get up to in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Next up, we have Kiara Gamra from Halkirk, Alberta.
Hello, my name is Kiara Gamra. The summer research program has been an amazing way to broaden my horizons and interest me in the field of STEM by connecting me with many fascinating mentors and female scientists. I worked in the Department of Linguistics this summer. I was studying the voice as it ages. To do this, we looked at 3 male speakers from the Midwestern part of the United States. The data collected was from the last 40 to 50 years of their life, making a longitudinal study, which can be hard to find in this field as not many people have similar sound recording data over this length of time. Some of the reasons this was such good data was because all of the speeches were within 1 of 2 auditoriums, making the acoustics very similar and using much of the same recording equipment. It was also close to the same time of the day, and all the speakers lived to be in their 90s. There are lots of different variables that can be used to describe sound. The variables we used were F0, F1, and speech duration. F0 is the fundamental frequency. That means it is a waveform at its lowest frequency. F1 is a resonant frequency. That means it's got a little stronger frequency. In the speech duration is the amount of time it takes to say certain vowels and words. Our study turned up 3 main findings. Our first finding was that F0 decreases with age. Then as the speaker got to be around the age of 80, the frequencies got higher. Our second finding was that F1 decreases a bit with age, but not to a notable extent. Our third finding was that word duration lowers at about the age of 70, but starts to get higher again. Thank you to my sponsors, WISEST and the Faculty of Arts, as well as all members of the Alberta Phonetics Laboratory, including Miss Stephanie Hedges and my supervisor, and my PI, Dr. Benjamin Tucker. And thank you for listening to my speech.
Thank you, Kira. We will now be having Mahak Arif present, and she will be presenting electronically. So I'm going to ask Bridget to screen share, and we will put in the chat a link to her video as well.
Good morning, my name is Mahak Arif. I am very excited to share my WISEST experience with you. The main goal of my research project was to test the accuracy of BirdNet, an automatic birdsong classifier. The principal investigator was Dr. Bain, and the direct supervisor was Dr. Headley. To start with some background information, automated recording units, ARUs, are small computers that can record bird sounds in nature. With the use of this technology, Bain Labs has collected recordings that would take 2.5 human lifetimes to go through. BirdNet is an automatic birdsong classifier that can identify species in a recording and therefore aid researchers in getting through all the recordings collected by the ARUs. In this recording that I uploaded, you can see that BirdNet is very confident it is a white-throated sparrow. Here's what a white-throated sparrow sounds like. There are two main reasons why this research is relevant. Firstly, biologists and researchers can use birdsongs to track and monitor birds over long periods of time. Secondly, BirdNet is available to anyone to download and to use in their everyday life to classify the birds they hear. Such a program could be key for getting the public interested in nature and therefore conservation. We use BirdNet and human classification to determine a rate of accuracy. Our research showed that BirdNet is overall 91.5% accurate. One reason why our accuracy rates are much higher than other programs is because we only uploaded recordings that exceeded a certain level of loudness, 70 decibel. And BirdNet may have had a much harder time classifying fainter bird sounds that had much more background noise. Not only did I get to work on an awesome research project, but I also got the chance to develop many key skills through professional development sessions. I met many mentors who work in the STEM field and attended lab tours and social events where I made many connections. WISEST was an unforgettable experience and has changed my life. Thank you to WISEST, my research team, and my supporters, Rotary Club of Glenora and Motorola. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mahak. Next, we will have Mika George from Edson, Alberta.
Hello, I'm Mika George, and for the WISEST Summer Research Program, I was placed under the Department of Computer Science in the lab of Dr. Carrie Demmons-Epp. Dr. Demmons-Epp's lab is the EdTech lab at the U of A, and I have been placed within the Cree Tutor project. Cree Tutor is a project that aims at teaching new learners Plains Cree through a web-based system of games. Cree Tutor was created to enable Cree learners and to help facilitate learning, therefore assisting in the preservation of this Indigenous language. However, the games on the Cree Tutor website require prior instructions, and those did not exist. So my project was to make video demos for this site. The initial setup for this project was somewhat challenging, as I would get error message after error message whenever I tried to run the games on the website. But through the tremendous help from my supervisor, Owen McLeod, we were able to get a few of the games running, so I was able to make demos for 3 games: the verb conjugations game, the single letter game, and the letter pair game. So that was my project, but the summer research program is about more than just the research. This program was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me, and is one I will never forget. I learned so much from the various PD sessions, and I met and made so many meaningful connections whose value cannot be adequately described in words. This program opened my eyes to so many possibilities, and for that I am forever grateful. I would like to thank the WISEST Board, Deb and Bridget, my sponsors Motorola and Edmonton chapter of Beta Sigma Phi, and everyone else who worked together to make this program amazing. You made this July unforgettable for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Meka. I would now like to call to the stage Olivia Zhang from Calgary, Alberta.
Hello, everyone. My name is Olivia Zhang, and I had the amazing privilege of conducting research within the Mechanical Engineering Department this summer. I worked within the LIMDA lab under my supervisor, Ms. Rabia Abbasi, and my principal investigator, Dr. Rafiq Ahmad, both of whom were incredibly helpful and knowledgeable, and I am very thankful for all their guidance and support. My research project this summer was on surface disinfection using UV light, as well as the many emerging technologies and applications of UV disinfection. I investigated the various types of UV light that could be used to inactivate pathogens such as viruses. So essentially, there are three primary classifications within the UV light spectrum: UVA, UVB, and UVC. The type of light used for the inactivation of pathogens is UVC, and I focused on a specific type of UVC light called far UVC, which, unlike the rest of the UVC light spectrum, is able to inactivate pathogens without also posing as a health hazard towards humans. So because of this characteristic, far UVC has a lot of potential to be used for disinfection in our everyday lives, including in spaces that are often full of people such as hospitals, schools, public transit, and much more. In addition, smart technologies such as automated robots can be used in conjunction with far UVC to achieve even higher levels of disinfection and reduce the transmission of disease even further. This research project was both very interesting and very fulfilling, as I felt that I was actually helping to contribute a little bit towards society, especially concerning the current COVID-19 pandemic. So here I'd like to express my immense gratitude to WISEST for running this amazing program, and to both WISEST and Motorola for the generous sponsorships. Without their support, I know I would not have been able to experience this wonderful learning and growth opportunity. The summer research program is an experience I know I will never forget. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Olivia. Next, we have Sydney Roper from Parkland County, Alberta, and that will also be a video, so I will share my screen.
Hi, I'm Sydney Roper. My research project was conducted in the Department of Biological Science under Dr. Philip Curry and Mr. Howard Gibbons on the distribution of dinosaur species throughout Western Canada and Northwestern United States to see which species may have interacted with each other. I'd like to thank the U of A Faculty of Science and Edmonton chapter Beta Sigma Phi for their support of my research. I worked with Haley Nicole to gather information on multiple dinosaur species, and together we found that Styracosaurus albertensis, Centrosaurus apertus, and Gorgosaurus libratus were all found in concentrated amounts around Dinosaur Provincial Park in Alberta. They were also found in the same formation, which shows us that they lived during the same time period. Because we know that Gorgosaurus is a carnivore, we were able to infer that it was possible that Styracosaurus and Centrosaurus were prey items for Gorgosaurus. We also found a connection between Tyrannosaurus rex and Ankylosaurus magniventris. We found that they both lived in eastern Montana during the same time period. And because they were so close in time and location, we were able to infer that they interacted with each other at some point during their lifetime, or that T-Rex may have preyed on Ankylosaurus. Overall, my experience in the WISEST program this summer was an exciting roller coaster, full of laughter and learning. It was refreshing to talk to and interact with such smart and driven individuals who I could end up taking classes with in university. The program gave me an amazing opportunity to meet and network with successful mentors and learn from their experience and knowledge. So once again, thank you so much to WISEST for providing such an amazing opportunity.
I would now like to invite all of our audience members to unmute yourselves. You can turn on your videos, and let's give a really big, large round of applause to all of this year's summer student researchers. Well, I'd like to say on behalf of WISEST, thank you to all of our student researchers for their presentations. We are running a little early because we left some buffer time just to accommodate for any technical glitches. What we are going to do is, if anyone in the audience has any questions they'd like to ask, if you could put them in the chat and we will ask the students directly. Also, if any principal investigators or supervisors who are on would like to add any comments or anything that you'd wish to say, please feel free to unmute yourself and just make them. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat at this time. As well as if there are any PIs or supervisors who'd like to make any comments, we'd love to hear from you.
Hello.
Hi, Kasia.
Hi, yes, I'm Dr. Duke from Mechanical Engineering. I'm a little messy looking today, but I just wanted to ask you about, I mean, it sounds like you've still been able to form some really good bonds and make friends. And with courses going online in the fall, I'm concerned with how to make similar connections with my second year class of mechanical engineering. So do you have any advice? How have you made bonds outside of your work? Did you do group work? What were some good tips that I can take forward to my class? Because it looks like this has been a success. Thank you.
Students, I'm going to ask you to turn your videos on so that you can kind of see if someone's answering the question, and then feel free to unmute and answer.
Yeah, for sure. I can take this one. I'd say that within the meetings itself, something that I found to be really helpful to connect with PIs and mentors would be the breakout sessions, because when we're in such a large class, I guess, it would be harder to have that one-on-one time or be able to like communicate that efficiently. And outside of those sessions, I think it would be LinkedIn. That was like my main social media site that I was able to connect with all the mentors with, and I was able to keep in touch with them and ask them about their careers apart from the mentor opportunities we had with WISEST.
Okay, thank you. How big were your breakout sessions? Did they vary? Were you mingled with different people every time?
Yeah, so it was about, sometimes they could range from 3 people, then it could go to about maybe 6 to 7 with 2 mentors. So it would be easier to communicate, I guess. And I feel like from going from 21 students to like 3 or even like 6 is still quite a gap. So when you can split them into thirds, I think it would be the most efficient way to go, especially with the 21 group that I'm speaking about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Duke, for that question. I do see a question from Howard Gibbons in the chat. I'm just going to read it out, and then if the 2 students it's directed at could unmute themselves and answer. So I see the question is, I would be interested in knowing if the 2 CRE project websites are available for public access.
I can go first. So the CRE tutor group is planning on publishing their website at the end of August, and at that time, it would probably be available for public access, but at the moment they are not.
Thank you, Meika. I'm not sure if the other student in that lab would like to make a comment. Okay, I see Carrie Demonzap has also added they will be made available for public access. Great, thank you. Any other comments from principal investigators, supervisors, the general audience, questions? I'm going to read a couple of the comments in the chat. I see from Kasha Duke, wonderful projects all around. I was so happy to see your success and positive experience, even under these unusual times. Very true. Hopefully this year's once off, knock on wood, and we'll take it from there. I see from Ahlam Abdelnabi, thank you to all the students, impressive work, excellent. And then for Vone, do any of the students have any questions? I'm going to mute myself in case you do. All right, hearing none, I'd like to thank everyone again for their presentations. And then Tien, I am going to pass it back to you.
Thank you, Deb, and thank you, everyone. I see that I don't have my light on, and I'm in Christmas, so it's a bit dark now. Thank you, everyone. It was wonderful, and as I mentioned at the beginning, you always make us proud, and this is the same in this very special year. You still make us proud. Now we have two students who are going to bring thanks on behalf of the program participants. The first student is Ananya Nandiraju from Linian Osman High School. The principal investigator is Dr. Michael Hendry from the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Ananya, we invite you to unmute yourself and begin.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Tian Tang, for that. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here today amongst all of you. My name is Ananya Nandiraju, and I've had the pleasure of partaking in the summer research program this year. I would like to start by thanking my principal investigator, my supervisor, WISEST, and most importantly, my teachers, who have graciously taken the time to write references and provide me with the support that I needed while applying to the program. I remember being extremely nervous, yet excited during the application process for WISEST Summer Research Program. This was where it all started. Now, COVID-19. I'm sure this word might bring a plethora of emotions over us. Maybe anger, maybe sadness. But for me, it was uncertainty. When I was told that WISEST SRP was still being held, it provided a sense of comfort for me. This summer, I was placed in the Faculty of Engineering, Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. With the support and guidance of Dr. Hendry, my principal investigator, and Ms. Paulette, my supervisor, I gained so much knowledge about engineering, the various avenues it consists of, and the research aspect of it. But before I get ahead of myself, I would like to speak about my journey to this program. As a high school student, my vision has always been clear regarding post-secondary, recognizing that it is a pathway to a successful career. Though this goal has always been clear to me, I was conflicted regarding what exactly I wanted to pursue. What I realized was that as students, we need a mentor who could help us find our passion. For me, this was my biology teacher in grade 11. I saw a teacher who was passionate about her students and her career. I would like everyone to quickly take a moment and reflect on who a teacher is. Are they merely a method of education delivery? Someone who grades our exams? I believe that teachers are role models. They inspire their students. They teach more than just the curriculum. They teach life lessons. Each and every one of us have had a role model who has inspired us in many different ways. Thank you to all of our teachers for always guiding us in the right direction and helping us blossom into young adults. I'm grateful for our teachers because without them and their constant positive reinforcement, we would not be the responsible, confident learners that we are today. I cannot put into words how motivating and great of the impact they have had in our education. It makes me proud as a student to have strong role models as teachers. For that, I thank and applaud all teachers because you are the building blocks and foundation for a successful student. I remember receiving the email that I was selected into this program and thinking, there's no way this is possible. But immediately, I knew that this was an opportunity I had to make the most of. What I adore about this program is that it isn't just an opportunity to conduct research. Rather, it's to develop a student and prepare them for their future endeavors. We met with industry professionals who are passionate about what they do, and this resonated even through the virtual platform, and this was fuel to us young learners. Throughout the program, we were always being pushed to exceed our limits and try new things. This included social nights, where there was team bonding, never a moment of silence, and a place to learn more about ourselves. Here's an example of something new I learned about myself. So I never knew I liked to do art, moreover tape painting, but who knew that after I tried it, I'd fall in love with it. Through these social activities, I met inquisitive young minds, just like myself, and this was the breeding place for long-lasting friendships. This summer research program empowered me as a woman and taught me to take pride in all my work and future goals. I would like to thank WISEST, our sponsors, our wonderful coordinators, Deb and Bridget, and especially the teachers who inspired us to apply. Without the wonderful collaboration of all these people, we would not have been able to participate in the program this year. Thank you once again, teachers, on behalf of all SRP students this year, for giving us the support and for making this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ananya. The second student to speak is NC Singer from Barhead Composite High School. The principal investigator is Dr. Benjamin Tucker from the Faculty of Arts, Linguistics. Anthony, we invite you to unmute yourself and begin.
Thank you for that introduction. Good morning, friends, family, sponsors, and respected dignitaries. My name is Ainsley Singer, and I, along with all my student researcher peers, are extremely grateful to each of our research teams for making this summer possible for us. Through this program, the 21 student researchers have had a unique experience. We have been given the opportunity to plunge into university-level research, working with a wide range of members in each of our research teams, from principal investigators to postdoctoral fellows to grad students. In just 4 weeks, we have gone from regular grade 11 students to well-informed and passionate science enthusiasts. The global COVID-19 pandemic has meant that the student cohort is half the size of previous years. However, this has allowed us to grow closer together. I believe that many of us will take away lifelong friendships from this program. From birdsong classifications to geotechnical site investigations, this group of students have learned so much that would not have been possible without this program and the generous welcome we received from the research teams at the University of Alberta. I was placed in the Faculty of Arts in the Linguistics Department, working with the Alberta Phonetics Lab under Dr. Tucker and Dr. Niveld. My research dove into the science behind how bilingual people listen to words in their second language. This was an amazing experience, from interacting with professionals and academics in the lab team down to the fine details of the research. This program would not be possible without the generosity of the labs that accept high school students as WISEST interns. On behalf of all WISEST participants this summer, I cannot thank the lab, supervisors, technicians, and grad students enough. Thank you for sharing your passion with a collection of grade 11 students searching for their own. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for this gift. We will each come away from the program with different memories and impressions. However, all of our experiences were crafted by your actions and kindness. While we may only be grade 11 students struggling to understand the infinite intricacies of your life's research, you have shaped the way that we view science. You have allowed us to see science, research, technology, engineering, art, and math in a different light. This program has changed the way I think about my future. I entered this program with lab coats and infinite notes. I've learned so much more about the studies and people working in STEM than I ever imagined. I speak for all of us students when I say we came not only to understand this area of study of our principal investigators and supervisors, but the passion they have for it. Between mentor sessions, lab tours, and all the other wonderful PD, Each student was able to experience conversations with someone in love with their work. This was especially impactful not only for me, but for all of us. Most importantly, this program has helped us see that there are many career paths, options, and opportunities. That no matter where you start, you can always change directions. This program's greatest gift is showing joy by opening up doors to careers in STEM. One of the scariest things about leaving high school is the thought that you will choose the wrong path, the wrong program, the wrong school. But this summer has shown us that there is no wrong way to start working towards something you love. This is a lesson that resonated with me. Through the generosity of everyone on the research teams, volunteers, Deb and Bridget, all of us students have learned many lessons that we'll carry with us for the rest of our life. And so, on behalf of all this year's SRP students, thank you for this incredible gift, for making this summer possible, and for your time, support, and generosity. Each of the research teams in this program offers so much, and we are extremely grateful for the opportunities you have made possible. I hope this wonderful program is able to continue for many years to come. Thank you for your time.
Wow, thank you. That's a hard act to follow. Good morning, everyone. My name's Ravone Goings. I'm the WISEST team lead, and I've had the privilege of working with these students this summer. And this program would not exist, as you've heard, without the involvement of our amazing research teams who welcome students into their labs, the volunteers who worked on our professional development sessions, and the office team who worked behind the scenes to pull it all together. I'm just going to share my screen here. Oops, there we go. So each year, WISEST has the privilege of working with a lot of different research teams across many faculties and departments on campus. And when we realized in the spring that we were going to have to do a virtual program, we knew we needed to make strategic decisions about how to make this a successful year. So thankfully, we had an amazing pool of principal investigators and supervisors who understood our program and knew what our goals were. So we are exceedingly grateful to the amazing support, or for the amazing support, that these 15 research teams gave to the students during this unique format. As you can see from this slide, in the parentheses is the number of years an individual has worked with us. So some researchers have been working with WISEST for over a decade. And this is a testament to their commitment to provide opportunities to young people and introducing a new generation to the power of research and the impact of STEM careers. So thank you again. In addition to our volunteers, our program would not be possible without the many groups and organizations that support WISEST financially. Although based at the U of A, WISEST relies almost completely on donations from corporations, foundations, individuals, and the public sector so that we can develop and deliver our innovative programs. Contrary to perception, WISEST does not receive any core funding from the U of A. So we are also, though, grateful for the in-kind contributions such as space, campus resources, and of course, access to the amazing group of researchers that we work with every year. However, we do fundraise. We fundraise over $200,000 a year to make the summer research program a reality. And so here we gratefully acknowledge those who partner with us to make this program possible. Listed here are the corporations and groups who contributed to this year's programs, along with numerous anonymous individual donors who contribute to WISEST throughout the year. Thank you. As some of you may know, WISEST lost an important member of community in May 2019, when Dr. Margaret Ann Armour passed away. Margaret Ann dedicated her life and career to diversity and the advancement of women in science. But more fundamentally, she dedicated her spirit and her passion to people. Over the years, she became a recognized leader in raising national awareness among school-aged girls, educators, parents, and employers to the importance of encouraging women to take up careers in science and engineering. Simultaneously, she became a beloved member of numerous groups and networks. And through her genuine enthusiasm for individuals and sincere belief in the power of community, she loved people and people loved her back. In her own words, learning what different groups do, think, and believe can lead to empowerment. Margaret Ann is deeply missed by countless people whose lives were touched by her tireless determination to make an impact and bring change in the world. And she leaves us all with a call to action. I give you my greatest wish to go and meet your dreams. So it is in this vein that WISEST is pleased to present the Spirit of Dr. Armour Award to two individuals whose spirit and enthusiasm for diversity in STEM is genuine, infectious, and intentional. This morning, we recognize both an advocate and a student recipient. The Advocate Award is presented to a principal investigator or supervisor who, through their participation in the summer research program, has shown advocacy in creating a more diverse STEM community, including enthusiastically mentoring students, promoting WISEST and the SRP program, and participation in the program with high student satisfaction. So it is my pleasure to announce that the 2020 Advocate Award recognizes Dr. Alam Abdunabi from the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering for the role she has played in mentoring students this summer. She was an enthusiastic, approachable, and relatable role model and advocated for the placement of a high school student in her team. Her love for her field of study and the power of curiosity and the impact it can have in the world is infectious and had a very positive impact on our 2020 cohort. So congratulations, Dr. Abdunabi. I'm going to invite you to unmute yourself and unvideo yourself and wave and say hi so everybody can see you. And let us all congratulate you.
Thank you so much. I apologize, I don't have my video on and not wearing my headscarf. So this caught me off guard. Thank you so much to all of you. I really appreciate you guys, Deb, Favone, Bridget, everyone for your support to all these fantastic, fabulous students. I'm honestly extremely honored by this award. I'm shaking, you can't see me, but I am. So thank you all, and thank you to the fabulous students. I honestly enjoyed every single presentation. Extremely impressed with their work. So thank you to all.
Thank you very much, and sorry for springing it up on you. My apologies for that.
No worries, thanks a lot. It was a happy surprise. Thank you.
In addition to recognizing an advocate, WISEST has also created a student award. This SRP Student Award is presented to a grade 11 student who, through their participation in the WISEST Summer Research Program, has shown a genuine interest and passion in pursuing a STEM education, leadership, and engaged participation in all the SRP program offers, collaborative interactions with other SRP participants, principal investigators, graduate students, WISEST staff, and lab staff. This student also has an innovative and creative problem-solving approach and has demonstrated resilience in overcoming barriers and obstacles.
Every year we have the opportunity to meet and work with students who are committed to investigating STEM careers and opportunities. This year, one student stood out from day one with a contagious enthusiasm and genuine interest in STEM. I had the pleasure of reviewing her application, and in my notes I wrote a single word: wow. And she has lived up to that statement ever since. She has had the brightest of smiles during every part of the program and did not shy away from accepting every challenge we threw her way. She took to heart the advice we gave at the beginning to make the most of this month, and she has made an active effort to connect with each of her fellow student researchers throughout the month without being prompted to do so. She has shone in her interactions with peers, staff, and colleagues. In the words of her peers, she is not afraid to take initiative and is always nice to everyone. She radiates confidence and positivity and did not hesitate to bring great ideas and questions during meetings. The innovative and creative problem-solving approach by this student is attributed to her resilience in overcoming barriers and obstacles and her desire to be a champion for diversity in STEM. Halam Iftikhar, you encapsulate the beating heart of this program, and it is our pleasure to present you with the Dr. Margaret Ann Armour Spirit Award this year. Congratulations. Alam, please unmute yourself and say hi so people can see who you are.
Hello, my name is Alam Iftikhar. Thank you so much, WISEST, for presenting me this award. I am so gratefully honored. Since day one, I was so grateful and blessed to be part of this program, and it has changed me so much. Each day I challenged myself to open my mic and at least ask a question or give a comment, and I successfully did that, and it was such an amazing opportunity. And I want to thank you so, so, so much. This was so amazing. Thank you.
We will be sending out the certificates and the award pins later this fall when we're able to access campus again. Whew, Halam. Thank you.
Yeah, every year we got a bit emotional at the end of the celebration of research because we will miss you. We will miss your work. We will miss your enthusiasm. We will miss your smile. It's just very emotional, and but it will be good memories. Thank you, and congratulations again to our award recipient this year. As we wrap up today, I'd also like to thank the WISEST office team who worked very, very hard and committedly to make this program a huge success in this very unusual year. Thanks to Fuan, Bridget, Deb, and Helen. A recording of this presentation will be made available and distributed later in August. Thank you all for attending our celebration of research. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors and look forward to seeing some of you at future WISEST alumni events or as students of the U of A. Everyone, please unmute yourself and show yourself and give a round of big applause to all of the participants. Thank you all, and that ends our celebration of research today. And have a good rest of the day and have a wonderful long weekend. Thank you.